Women serve at the highest levels of the military. Oh, good. We have pink drones and pink bombs that we can drop on Palestinian children.
Saying that America is built on genocide and slavery is the least controversial take. So saying that about Israel is no different. It is identical. That's crazy. What is this? Stranger Things kid is getting cooked. Israel related. In love with this place. The whole time it's just an apartheid state. Noah Schnapp says in love with this place. Yeah, if you look off in the distance on the other side, there's like a Palestinian child being blown to bits. You see all Dems freaking out because Jayapal calling Israel racist, and now they're voting on a bill reaffirming that it isn't racist.
Hey guys, can I say something as somebody that's been in the streets and has participated in a lot of demonstrations? I want you to know that we have been fighting to make it clear that Israel is a racist state, that the Palestinian people deserve self-determination and autonomy, that the dream of a two-state solution is slipping away from us, that it does not even feel possible. It does not even feel possible.
Dude, in the United States of America, if you say like historically accurate and currently accurate things, like Israel is an apartheid state, it is a theocratic apartheid state that is like eviscerating Palestinian lives. It was built on the maintenance and continuation of death and destruction to the Palestinians that lived there prior. You literally you're branded as like a sociopathic liar in the American Congress. They will literally, they'll do anything and everything. Like the Democratic Party will do anything and everything to destroy you, okay? Which they did.
This comes out almost within seconds. Not from Republicans, although I'm sure that they had their own, but from Hakeem Jeffries, Catherine Clark, Pete Aguilera, Ted Lieu, and then there was more.
Apartheid defenders.
This is the leadership.
Disgusting.
Israel is not a racist state. As Jewish democratic nation, Israel was founded 75 years ago on the principle of complete equality of social and political rights for all of its citizens, irrespective of religion, race, or sex, codified in the Declaration of Independence. Israel remains the only vibrant, progressive, inclusive democracy in the region. It's just...
Arab parties serve in the Knesset. Women serve at the highest levels of the military. Oh, good. We have pink drones and pink bombs that we can drop on Palestinian children. And I'm like... It's not a democracy. There are 2 million Palestinians who do not have the ability to participate in the democracy.
Jayapal came out and defended Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Okay, Ilhan Omar is Muslim and Somali. Rashida Tlaib is Palestinian, and like her family has been attacked by the Israeli occupying forces. You know what I mean? It's like crazy that she can't mention her grievances and the genuine crimes that the American government has helped facilitate against her family, who she's not even allowed to visit. Like, it's so crazy to me.
I am the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, and I have family members all throughout the West Bank and what many people call the illegally occupied territories. But we're here again, reaffirming Congress' support for apartheid, policing the words of women of color who dare to speak up about truths, about oppression, is just not what we should be doing here in Congress. And let's just get this record straight here. This is not something that's made up. The United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, Israel's own largest human rights organization, B'Tselem, all agree that Israel is an apartheid state. To assert otherwise, Mr. Speaker, in the face of this just body of evidence, is an attempt to deny the reality and to normalize violence of apartheid. This week, we're going to hear consistently that people touting about like, oh, this is bipartisan support here. Well, don't forget, this body, this Congress, supported the South African apartheid regime, and it was bipartisan as well. But you don't have to take it from me to understand the racism of an apartheid government. Let's take a moment just to hear Israeli government's own politician in their own words. Direct quotes, not mine. Current Prime Minister Netanyahu, on his policies towards Palestinians, quote, beat them up, not once, but repeatedly, beat them up until it's unbearable, and said that Israel must, quote, crush Palestinian hopes for a fully sovereign state. One of the former defense ministers said Palestinians are, quote, beasts, and they are not human. He's talking about people like my grandmother, Mr. Speaker. How about former Justice Minister who said they should go, as should the physical homes in which they raise the snakes. Otherwise, more little snakes will be raised there. How about another former defense minister said, quote, those who are against us, there's nothing to be done. We need to pick and axe them and cut off their heads. Another quote, there is no such thing as Palestinian people.
General, his time has expired.
At its core, Mr. Speaker, Israel's own president, who's
the gentlelady's time has expired. Does the gentleman for New York reserve or yield?
Give me one more minute.
I give the gentlelady 30 seconds.
Israel's own president, Herzog, who's going to come before Congress tomorrow, has long advocated against interracial marriages. Did you all know that? Do you care? He said on the news segment, look it up, when he came to America, he said, quote, encountered something that I call an actual plague. I saw my friends' children married and coupled with non-Jewish partners. Israel is an apartheid state. The government is deeply problematic in the way that they are proceeding in the structure of oppression. This year, Mr. Speaker, just like I speak up against injustices here in America, this is about speaking up
against the gentlelady's time has expired.
Violence.
Does the gentleman for New York
Congress
yield
must stop
or reserve?
funding apartheid.
I don't really have much to add to that.
And when you say anything about that, the Democratic Party will be like, shut your stupid mouth, will kill you. Okay, which is what happened basically. They basically made Jayapal go back on her previous sentiments, and I don't even know. I mean, it's like we're not even talking about the Republican Party. They're even worse. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting. If you read Jayapal's statement, she didn't really backtrack that much. I mean, the fact that she was forced to offer concessions, and this is not the first time she's had to do that as the leader of the progressive, like the progressive caucus, is really, really frustrating. Okay. Premier Jayapal says blowback from calling Israel a racist state reveals double standard. Like, I heard Sam Cedar talk on this, and he brought up a really good take.
But that's why Jayapal has to stand up for her members of her caucus. When she, you can't concede this. You leave the two only Muslim women in Congress who are actually forceful and strong about this. You put them on an island. That is the member of your caucus.
I don't think she walked it back that far. I really don't. I mean, I think that, to say that the idea of Israel is not racist, like, I think ultimately, in the same way that we have to fundamentally reckon with the establishment of this country as being a project that involved, at least in part, racism, right? That is the truth about Israel. If there is any real sort of like future for that country, there's going to have to be some realization of that and a way of dealing with that, regardless of the reasons why the country was founded. The fact is that there were massacres, there were attacks, there were on Palestinians, there was ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, there was destruction of Palestinian communities within the land that is now considered Israel. That's just the reality. And coming to that sort of like understanding, it's reality in the United States. I don't think that we should have no United States. I don't think that we should like get rid of the country, but there needs to be a reconciliation. The difference is, of course, is that Israel has an ongoing problem of occupying and de facto annexing these countries. They have created an open-air prison for over a decade in Gaza. I mean, I don't know if the idea of Israel was racist as much as the execution of the idea.
Yeah, I mean, the idea
racist.
was nationalistic. Like, I think that's part of, like, a lot of the nationalisms ran their course in the 20th century, and Israel's just still doing it.
If there had been if that had just been empty land, would the idea of Israel had been racist? I don't think so. But it wasn't.
Yep.
If you say America is a racist state from its foundation all the way to now, especially when it comes to white supremacy, no one would bat an eye. Who the would turn around and go, what? What? Like only dumbass dipshits would get mad at that. And our congressional representatives say that on a daily fucking basis. They say it all the time. Now, they might not mean it, but they still say it. So why can't you fucking say that about Israel, which is like another American state at this point? You know what I mean? That's crazy. Saying that America is built on genocide and slavery is the least controversial take. When it comes to historic relevance, when it comes to historic accuracy, it's true. So saying that about Israel is no different. It is identical. Ridiculous. Hassan, you can't address congressional attitudes about this without addressing AIPAC lobbying. It's not just AIPAC lobbying. It's so much more than that. It's defense contracts. It's Israel's own viable defense and surveillance industry that Americans now rely on. The American state literally utilizes Israeli surveillance technology. Think about it that way. While simultaneously scoffing at its existence, by the way. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Only we get to have surveillance tech. You can't do that. Also, that shit looks fire. Can you give me some of that? That is the American position. You also have, obviously, the cult of evangelical Protestantism that has dictated that Israel has to maintain its ongoing genocide so that Jesus Christ can come back to earth and battle Satan in Megiddo, so that like all of the fattest of evangelicals get sucked into the fucking heavens during the rapture, while everybody else, including the Jews that are living in Israel, lest they convert to Christianity, also die in hell and burn in hell in eternal damnation. Sounds like Bionicle lore? Nope, just what Americans believe. It's just stupid as fuck.